Well, it's been a long day. We had a really great discussions. Before I deliver my presentation, it's a great honor to be here. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to share with you some of the perspective that we have on social enterprise. I think I'd like to extend my special thanks to Professor Yuan and her team to organize this great session. I think we all of us owe her big hands. So thank you very much. In my 20 minutes, I was asked to talk about the transparency of social enterprise. I used to be academic. Now I'm practitioner. So rather than me giving you some conceptual framework to think about transparency, there's many different aspects you can think about transparency of social enterprise. Allow me to introduce some of the programs that we are doing and draw some of the implications that we learned from our program about the importance of transparency, and perhaps allow me to discuss a little bit of implications toward the certification of social enterprise. Throughout the day, we talked about and learned quite a bit how to conceptualize social enterprise. It seems to me that there is no one universal dominant way of think about social enterprise. All depending upon the different regulatory context within different countries, or some of the social issues that facing the local communities. But in my humble opinion, no matter how you define social enterprise or conceptualize social enterprise, there's one common purpose that we can all agree upon. All social entrepreneurs to trying themselves best at their best to create the prosperity for all, with the three basic principles. The three basic principles are written right here. 互信, 合作, 共享. Unfortunately, Chinese portion of my presentation is just 3 words. Maybe I continue to learn Chinese. Maybe next year I will deliver more longer in Chinese. Okay, about SK. For those of you who are not familiar with SK, let me give you my 20 seconds of SK. SK is a very large conglomerate which consists of about 60 affiliates. We have 3 pillars of business. One is petrochemical and energy. Second one is semiconductor. And third is telecommunications. As a large corporation, we have a tremendous influence in our business and to our society. But SK is one of the leading companies that defines our corporate motto and our purpose of exist within our society as creating prosperity for all. We are a for-profit company, but we define our business. We're trying to embed our management philosophy as to make sure that we create a common prosperity that can be shared with everybody. So we're trying to embed this management philosophy within our day-to-day business operations. We want our 80,000 employees to think about whenever they make any business decisions, if any decisions they are making are causing any harms to our society or delivering what kind of benefits to our society. In terms of our CSR programs, we intentionally have chosen to support social entrepreneurship because it's the same resources, right? If you donate your resource to a certain organization, that's fine. But we believe, if done right, any resources been deployed to social enterprise, that resource can have productivity and continuously tackle the social issue that's been targeted. So we believe the social entrepreneurship. But if you think about this way, let me borrow some numbers from my friend James Kahn. James Kahn is one of the leading opinion leader in this sector. who I believe he's one of the founding member of Davos Forum. According to him, in order to drive the Sustainable Development Goals, which defined by UN, they need about, until the year 2030, they need about $4 trillion. About 1/3 is covered. We still need about the $2.5 trillion. That's a tremendous amount of money that we need. Why? Lack of transparency, and they're not informed of which social entrepreneurs are doing better than the other, delivering more social impact. Basically what that means is that investors are not informed. That's the main thing that I think that we need to overcome in order to invite more commercial and mainstream capital into this sector. If we can invite more capital into the social sector, that means the social innovators who has great ideas, who can turn their ideas into the solutions and make that solution working toward the tackling more social issues. So we need to invite capital. But there is the information gap here. So our suggestion is social progress credit. If our society can give the credit based upon how much the contribution that social entrepreneurs are actually making for social progress, then I think with that reference, the investors can use that reference as a kind of informed, when they make informed decisions in terms of making their investments. And use that credit, social entrepreneurs can focus on, rather than chasing money, they can focus on social value creation. And they will motivate more innovation, because if they innovate, they can create more social value, they can get more credit from the society. This recognition will motivate social entrepreneurs. And also, with that reference and data, we can create the market confidence. Let me go back to this market confidence issue. But all this system has to be based upon the one basic assumption. We need to be able to measure the social value, social progress, or social contribution, whatever you want to call it, the positive impact that's been delivered by social entrepreneurs. Actually, this idea is not new. Back in the year 2012, at Beijing Forum, this idea was being introduced. And year 2013, in Davos Forum, our chairman actually proposed this idea. He's so eager to express and share his idea. He even wrote a book about it, and thankfully we have a Chinese version available. Now, we have a big issue, right? Our chairman says social progress credit. We need to implement this. So we invited right now we're working with the government agency and about 100 social entrepreneurs to create the commonly acceptable some measurement scheme, appraisal scheme that we can all agree upon. We do not want to have approaches to evaluate the social impact like company by company or like due diligence type of approach, because within the due diligence approach, you can learn so much about a certain business type or business model of a particular company, but you cannot make the comparison. So we want to have something common, something that generally acceptable, generally understood kind of appraisal system, so that we all can. It may not be perfect, but if we can agree upon how to measure the social impact, then I think it will be good reference for entrepreneurs as well as investors. So we engage the social entrepreneurs to create the commonly acceptable, commonly agreeable, the measurement scheme. Last year, April Fool's Day, it actually happened. We started with 35 companies. This was actually a ceremony. The concept was superheroes in our time. The ceremony was held in a theater. This theater is actually a social enterprise. They they feature a classic movie with a very affordable price. So the elderlies can come to enjoy their movies of their time with a very affordable price. And the social entrepreneur who runs this theater is also participating in our program too. Now, 1 year after, this is actual result. Actually, the 44 companies were eligible to receive the credit. Now, we called it the social progress credit because we want this credit to be perhaps maybe in distant future. We can perhaps develop a financial instrument that can be tradable. But for now, we need to prove before we can invite that kind of policy or invite the new financial product. We decided to pay the incentive, the credit, with the cash to prove that this experimentation is actually working. So we measured the 44 companies, the social impact of 44 companies. Their annual turnover was about $74 million, which is being recognized in the market. Their social performance was about 10 million. This is not being recognized in the market. What that means is that this is either the margin they have sacrificed to provide the goods and services to beneficiary with a more cheaper price, or they held the same price compared to other public social services, but they increase or improve the quality of the service and product they are providing to their beneficiary. So we agree to recognize only the incremental additional value added to compare to the other public social services. Now, how much to compensate? We decided to about 25% of the social performance being measured. Why? Because we don't want our social entrepreneurs to be too much dependent upon the cash incentive we provide. So we held it to, on average, about 3 to 5% of their revenue, which is compatible to the operating income of small and medium-sized companies within Korea. And also, like I said, we want to provide a credit or incentive for our social entrepreneurs to be able to invite more capital from outside. So we thought that it should cover their cost of capital. So we collectively calculated how much their asset they have. So the 25% of 10 million, which is $2.5 million, is equivalent to about 8% of the total asset of the 44 companies that are eligible. In Korea, the cost of capital is typically 6 to 7%. So with this money, $2.5 million, the social entrepreneurs can now invite the capital from outside. And this April's Day of this year 2016, the 44 superheroes being recognized for their positive impact they are making. Now, the two lessons that I'd like to say. One is the importance of the appraisal. There are many different ways to estimate or appraise or measure the social impact. But we thought that our appraisal system is somewhat unique because rather than creating or trying to develop a more complete or perfect measurement scheme, we want our appraisal system to be more generally commonly accepted, because we want, like I said, we want our social entrepreneurs to use their reference to plan their business, how much the social value they want to create by hiring some of the underprivileged people, for example. Or we want this data to be available and for investors to make the comparison or making informed decision in terms of making their investment decisions. So in order to collect the longitudinal data set, the massive data from social entrepreneurs, we designed and opened the system, which is called the Social Progress Appraisal System, available in Korea. It is open to public. English version will be soon to be available. When they put the financial data, system automatically calculates the social performance, and the reporting is generated and then given to the user. Once we have data accumulated, we can provide market services like social progress credit 100 index. With this type of index information or market service, finally the investors can make more informed decisions. And we open this system, make available to anyone, especially who wants to found a social enterprise in their future. They can actually simulate their business model within our system to see what best creates the social value. Sometimes they need to sacrifice or compromise the financial value, but they can at least understand by compromising some of the financial productivity, how much the social gain they can actually achieve. The second, in order for our systems to work, it is so important to have the transparency of our social entrepreneurs in terms of financial reporting. You know, our social entrepreneurs, the social entrepreneurs that we're working together, they are all with a big heart, with a great purpose in order to tackle the certain particular social problem. But that should not compromise their discipline in terms of the financial reporting. In my opinion, you know, the for-profit or non-profit organization, as long as you are running a business, social enterprise, then that requires the same level of the financial discipline in terms of the managing their cost and managing their value chain. Unless and otherwise, they would not understand their cost positions and how much the waste they are actually, or even the potential gain they can gain. And also, without financial transparency, Hushin is the basic element of the market confidence. We can invite more financial investors from outside. The combination of the transparency in financial reporting of social entrepreneurs and market services, we can create the market confidence. Then finally we can be able to invite a more commercial capital into this sector. The implications for certification policy, we would like to propose. I think it should be part of the certification policy that the financial transparency has to be imposed on the social entrepreneurs. Because, like I said, even if they can have the big heart and really great common purpose of tackling the social problems, that doesn't mean that they can compromise their discipline. Because we need to work with not just the social entrepreneurs within this sector, but we want them to work with the other stakeholders outside of this sector, perhaps the mainstream financial institutions or academia. With accumulated data set, academics can study in more disciplined ways. So thank you very much for listening, and within our discussion, I invite your questions from the floor. Thank you very much.